Welcome back to Down the Track, and it's 2-1. India take the 2-1 lead at the Oval. A brilliant performance. Day 5 was a fantastic bowling performance. Jasprit Bumrah changes everything after lunch. Good fight from England, but today they just didn't have that fight in them after this first session. I have with me my co-host, Aziz. How are you doing?
Good man. I am on top of the world. I mean, what a performance. I mean, it's just a complete team performance. It's what you like to see. It's not like one stalwart going through and getting like a big score or something. Everyone contributed after that debacle on day one. 190 all out. Not a lot of teams come back from that kind of a position, but to have that fighting spirit to come back, I think I have to give a lot of credit to this whole team, especially Virat Kohli. I think he's been under the pump with a lot of his performances, his captaincy and all has come in a lot of questions. And I think if he wouldn't have come out with a win today, especially after losing Ashwin, not picking Ashwin would have been a lot of questions, especially on this kind of a pitch. So, but for him to go out there and back his gut and to come out with that kind of a win, I have criticized him in the past. So I think I have to give him the due respect when he deserves it right now. And this is a Virat Kohli team victory, and hats off to him. He's been phenomenal today. And over the past, I think a few months in Test cricket, I've seen that kind of a slight change. He's trying to be more aggressive. There have been losses, and those have hurt a lot. But I think that there is that change in personality, change in mentality for Indian cricket. And I think Indian cricket in red ball is going places, and that's beautiful to see. And just in general, a quick word on the team. Be it Rohit Sharma century, be it Bumrah's that fierce spell, or be it Shardul Thakur's all-round performance, or be it the others kind of chipping in, Umesh Yadav coming in after a long time and picking up those 5 or 6 wickets is just phenomenal. It's beautiful to see all players chip in. Pujara with that half century, Rishabh Pant coming with the half century, Virat Kohli scoring 50 also. So it's nice to see all of that.
Yeah, for me, that was the turning point today, Bumrah's spell. I think they, as a team, they just realized, we play a lot of test cricket back home in India and conditions are similar. Like, they are fairly flat. And what do they rely on? Reverse swing. It just looked like they were planning this whole time for the ball to get old, and it didn't catch us. We were all saying that, okay, second new ball, when is that coming? Maybe we can pick up a wickets. Because the first few wickets as well, that one really good ball to Burns, but then there was a run out, Malan, and then Jadeja got Hamid out. There's still, you could still see that as a good batting wicket, right? But then suddenly that spell, getting clean bowled like that, two batsmen
Twice.
out. Pope and Bairstow, I think that just sealed the win for India, and it showed that, it doesn't matter what the pitch is. Like, he took the pitch out of the equation basically, and that's what you do in subcontinent conditions. We saw Waqar Younis, Wasim Akram do that, and this is a very that type of spell from Bumrah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. He's a gem. It's like one of those, you find those raw diamonds and then you have to like really polish it to make it a beautiful diamond. That's the process right now. Like if they found a raw diamond, they found someone with this insane capability to bowl beautifully, and he's been polished and he's been given the backing. He's been not only like with Indian cricket as well. He's been handled very well. I think a lot of bowlers in the past have not been handled well. So he gets his rest, he gets his due diligence or whatever. Whenever he's injured, he's been given enough recoupment time and stuff like that. And they realize that he's a proper bowler. They also gave him the A+ contract, which is beautiful. With the Mumbai Indians, also a strong IPL side. So he's been nurtured and polished very well. And it's 100 Test wickets now in this match, and a lot more to come from what I can tell.
Yep, and a lot of credit to Jadeja. He didn't run through the lineup, he didn't pick up those 5, 6 wickets. All the eyes were on him. Everyone was saying, Jadeja. I'm sure word went around that he also knew himself that he has to play a role. But the way he played that role was a different type of thing. Like he actually bowled into that rough, even though in the beginning it looked like a negative line. But that's how he got the wicket of Hamid. And then he just held one end up, and that allowed a fast bowler to come and pick up a wicket. So that strategy which they put in place today, I think that was from yesterday. They learned from their mistakes, and the way he bowled today, I thought that it wasn't the most aggressive bowling or anything like that. You could say it was a bit defensive, but he used the rough beautifully.
Absolutely, that ball to Hamid was beautiful. Just jumped off the rough and hits the top of off. It's a fast bowler's dream. It's a spinner's dream. It's a proper ball. And then to get Moin Ali also, twice in the match as well.
That he was waiting for. He was just waiting for a left-hander to come, because it was spitting off the rough, that extra bounce, and yeah.
Yeah, and it was only a matter of time before he got Ali out as well. So yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you're absolutely right that Jadu, he needed to use the surface as much as he could. And he did an incredible job of it. And picking up those couple wickets also just gives him confidence going into the last Test match. Really, with that. It could have very well gone wrong for him and picked up 0 wickets, and then going into the last Test match with a lot of pressure, with Ashwin sitting in the hut as well. So that would have been tricky because Shardul is now becoming that all rounder. So it could have been Jaddu's place at line in place for Ashwin. So to be able to come out today, this match was not really with the bat, more with the ball, but he was able to get 4 wickets in the game. So that's very, very useful for sure.
Yeah, and Shardul Thakur picking up the wicket of Joe Root. I said that he'll pick it up in the first innings. He didn't, but then he picked him up in the second innings. He's picking up key wickets. He's smashing runs. His nickname apparently is Beefy after Ian Botham. So this guy is turning into a player, proper player.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when he first broke into the scene, I honestly had my doubts.
I agree with you. Same here. Like, I just got impressed after the Gabba, I think, because to hit a score like that under pressure. And then I think his first innings, he scored 250s, right, in this game. But the first innings 50 was absolutely crucial to keep India in the game. 130 all out, India wouldn't have been in the game.
I know the player of the match went to Rohit Sharma, but for me, it was Shardul Thakur. Because he picked up 3 wickets and he scored more than 100 runs in the course of the Test match, which is important. And the wicket of Root in the second innings, because he was probably the batsman that could have kept India at bay. Yes, it was not the greatest ball. Yes, he chopped it on and everything, but a wicket is a wicket in the end of the day. And he bowled a ripper to Burns as well. Because especially when the 100-run partnership had come up, they needed like that wicket at that time to really get the momentum back in India's favor, because England was slowly but surely running away with it. I'd like to say not running away with it in terms of the win, but they were settling down, and the morning half hour went away as well, and that early morning probably sea movement kind of settled down and stuff like that. So for him to bring up that ripper and bowl that beautiful ball to get caught behind for Burns is beautiful. And I think he has been a revelation. He's been one of those that's really come out, proved his critics wrong. Bat ball, be it bat, be it ball. He's been very, very good. And it's like I said, even in our pod yesterday, it is nice to see that we are not relying only on Hardik Pandya. We are developing and nurturing more players like this, which is always nice to see. Keeps Hardik Pandya on top of his toes as well, because he knows now that, with due respect to him, I feel like he knew that he didn't have too much competition. They tried the likes of Vijay, who didn't perform, the likes of Dubey, who didn't perform. So, to have a Shardul Thakur now come in, and, maybe Pandya is still way off in terms of catching up in terms of batting, but with the ball and with the success that he's been getting, his probably confidence will be very high. So it'll be nice to see him knocking on the door for that all-round position in white ball cricket as well.
Yeah, I thought it was a one-off, that Gabba innings, because in the last test, the test match that he played last at Lords, he didn't do much with the bat, but he's shown now that he has that ability in him, and he can play maturely if needed. He can play aggressively also. There's a contrast in the first and second innings. First innings, he just went for it and kept India in the game, whereas the second innings, he built a partnership with Rishabh Pant. He showed maturity and then played the shots when needed. Some fantastic shots there. But from England's side of things, the batting, they'll be very disappointed after the start that they got. Do you think that's also to do with the pressure? We saw India also capitulate in the last Test match, where they got a good start and then just everything went off in the last innings. Same thing with England here, a really good start, and it was a very good wicket to bat on. So to just suddenly get all out like that, do you think it'll hurt them?
I think I was a little bit surprised, so to say, not upset, but I was a little surprised to see the approach in which England was batting. They weren't trying to I had a feeling that, like I said, I thought it'd be a draw, but I had a feeling that England were not as out of it as they showed. I felt like they had already resigned to the fact that they won't be able to win it, and they were trying to draw it. I would have liked to see a little bit more aggression from them to try and win it, and maybe even in the end settle for a draw. That would have been the approach that I would have gone with. But I felt like they had resigned the fact that winning was out of the question for them. It was about drawing, and they ended up losing the game. So that was my surprise a little bit in terms of the approach. I felt like there was a little bit a lack of urgency over there, and a couple of things went against them. In terms of the Malan run out, it was a surprising run out. Beautiful fielding by Mayank Agarwal, no doubt, but that hesitancy over there to get the run and stuff like that. Third session, you remember when Pant and Shardul were batting? There was a run-out opportunity, an easy chance which Ali missed, and that went in favor because Pant was able to survive that run-out on day 4, I think it was. And then in the flip side, England were a close run-out in. So these small things can really change the complexion of the game, and that's what happened, I think. some things rub the green favored India in this game, and a complete performance as well. Nothing taking away, nothing from the performance, but a certain small things here and there they could have really changed. For example, I think Hamid was dropped early on, and then he went right after as well. I think
Siraj
Siraj
got,
at mid
yeah.
on, yeah, he was dropped, and then he went right after. He didn't go on to score a big century. So there were a few things that were in favor of India in this test match, and that's one of the reasons that they were able to get across the line as well. But I think, yeah, England, I'd be a little bit surprised with the way they went about things, and I think that they have more. They are a more capable side that they showed in terms of batting on day five.
Yeah, and where do you think they lost the game? Was it the first innings lead that not getting Thakur out, or was it when they were batting, not stretching that lead to more than 150, or was it? But 63 to for 5, they'll take to 90 any day, I think. Or was it their third innings bowling where they just didn't have that pace, like they didn't have that pace of Bumrah. Maybe they missed a Mark Wood, but it was these kind of bowlers. I think they rely more on the swinging conditions and stuff. When it's flat, they didn't have a Wood or an Archer to help them out.
I think it was a little bit of all of these things, to kind of add up, because I feel like when they kind of could have been 120 odd for 7, and with Shardul Thakur coming in and then getting it up to 190, was 50 odd runs too many, I think, at that time as well. And then, definitely, I think this first innings when they could have really stamped their authority in the game and kind of taken the game away from India with the 220 run lead, which they were not able to do, and they were able to just bring it up to just about 100. And then again in the third innings, when they should have really pushed things along, their bowlers looked a little flat, except for Ollie Robinson. I think everyone else was struggling with the ball, especially someone like a Jimmy Anderson that you expect a lot from was not able to really get to penetrate and get those wickets. And Mark Overton also looked a little bit jaded. So to say, Chris Woakes was trying, and Ollie Robinson also, but I think that it wasn't enough. And this was one worry, that all of the bowlers are very similar kind of bowlers. There's no additional pace, like you said. So I think with most likely, with Woody, I believe, coming back, it probably takes place of Overton in the final Test match at Old Trafford. So
100%. Yeah.
I think that's going to be good for them, just to get a little bit of extra pace, so to say. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and you haven't mentioned it now, so a lot of credit to you. You haven't mentioned his name, but is Ashwin going to be carrying drinks, or he's going to go to Dubai early and quarantine in the IPL? You have two options. I don't see him playing at Old Trafford.
I think he's going to stick around. I don't think he's going to play as well after the performance on today, And I think
you
Old
could
Trafford
genuinely, I mean, at Manchester, you could play him. Again, you have to look at the pitch and conditions. But I just feel the last 2 times, Virat Kohli was close to playing him, and they just saw the overhead conditions and pulled out last second. That's what I felt.
It's possible, and also Old Trafford will give you a lot of reverse swing. Even Root also said it in the post-match conference, right? He said that there's going to be reverse in Old Trafford, so they're going to have to make that adjustment in their batting. So if he knows that's going to happen, then there's no better than Bumrah and Siraj to bring that reverse in, and Umesh Yadav has take the claim for sure, to be in this team as well. So the only person I think at this point in time that he can take the place off is probably Siraj. Because Siraj had a quiet game this game. So that's the only player you can replace at this point in time. Maybe give Siraj a rest, fair enough.
But yeah,
and then go with it. I still think that's going to be a little tricky. Yeah, it's going to be a little difficult because Shami will come back as well. Shami will just rest this game. So.
I would honestly, because of the hectic schedule and everything, if you could rest them for the IPL, but I don't think they'll do that. And there's a T20 World Cup coming. They might even just go with Shami and bring Shami Ishant back and give Siraj rest. I don't know. They might do that. Bumrah as well. I felt that he needs a rest, but will they rest him for this Test match? It looks unlikely, but we'll know closer to the time because it's a quick turnover as well. But I think apart from that, overall key moments, Shardul Thakur, Rohit Sharma, Bumrah, I think these were the key moments. And Rohit Sharma, I just want to say that he was my player to watch out for before the start of the Test match.
That is true. He was your player to watch out for.
Because he's looked in brilliant form, but he's just
absolutely
he hasn't
not able to convert.
Yeah, again, there's a lot of criticism when he got it, even though he made 100. The way he played that pull shot, that's something that
it was a nothing shot, though. It was such a nothing shot, though. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah. But he has. I think he's worked really hard. I think there's a definite issue there in terms of concentration and also to play swing. It's not his forte, but he's made a genuine effort, and you can see that effort in the last 1 or 2 years for sure.
Absolutely, I think we all knew he was a talented batsman, but every talented batsman needs to put in that time and effort in the training ground So there's certain flaws in for him. The swing was a flaw, and his concentration was a flaw, and he's mentioned it. He's been very open about it as well. He said that back in the day it was a problem, and he's worked on it. And he said that after the World Test Championship, there was a 20-day break that he really worked on his technique a little bit, and it's shown. Finally, it took a long time coming. He looked good in several parts in the first 3 Test matches as well, and then to bring that 100 up, hopefully he can get another one and really shut the critics up completely. And him and Virat Kohli, him not necessarily, but Virat Kohli is probably the only other one that really needs a big one to really complete this proper England series and really call it a day and really stamp their authority on red ball cricket.
Yeah, 100%. I can't wait for the 5th Test match. Is set up beautifully. I think it's if England win the game, they keep the trophy. I think it's because that trophy is based in England or something like that. Even though India won the home series, but so India will be looking to either draw or win. There might be some weather around. Hopefully, the coaching staff gets better as well. Ravi Shastri is in quarantine. Yeah. That's also a thing we'll have to keep checking on. Because if he's in quarantine, what about the players? They were in close contact with him. So
there might be some tests tomorrow morning, and that might not be very well.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. And on Saturday, the second day 2 of the Old Trafford Test match, we'll talk about it in more detail. But Cristiano Ronaldo and Virat Kohli will be playing at the same time in the same place in the same ground, but different grounds. Same name, Old Trafford, but different, right next to each other. Imagine Kohli and Ronaldo neighbors.
Yeah. But I'm sure you're getting a kick out of it. I could care less.
It's going to be a very exciting week in Manchester. But yeah, I think that wraps it up. Any last thoughts about this Test match?
No, it was like I said, it was complete performance by Team India, and it's beautiful to see that. Again, hats off to this whole Indian team, especially to Virat Kohli.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you a day before the final Test match, and let's keep in touch, and can't wait for the Test match.
Looking forward to it, man.
Take care.